Now on CBC Vancouver News.
The Prime Minister is a friend to British Columbia. And an important part of friendship is telling each other the truth.
Smiles and serious issues. BC's Premier and the Prime Minister meet amid questions about pipelines and other projects.
If things get stalled here, we're going to be spending more time elsewhere in the country.
Plus,
it's great. It's been really tough.
A major Vancouver intersection reopens to some traffic after months of SkyTrain construction closures. But the shutdowns are moving down the street.
This project isn't really known for being on time.
And
a lot of the stuff that goes into our wastewater ends up in our fish.
What have researchers found in young salmon in the Fraser River? Why some are not surprised.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Hello, I'm Dan Burritt. Thanks for joining us. Prime Minister Mark Carney is here in BC on what some might call a fence-mending mission. He held a closed-door meeting with Premier David Eby, who has slammed an agreement Carney signed with Alberta last week for a proposed oil pipeline to the West Coast. The CBC's David Thurton has more.
Lately, Mark Carney and David Eby haven't been seeing eye to eye, something BC's Premier addressed head-on.
There's no doubt in my mind but that the Prime Minister is a friend to British Columbia. And an important part of friendship is telling each other the truth.
The Prime Minister and the BC Premier held their first meeting since Ottawa and Alberta signed another deal committing to building a potential pipeline to BC's West Coast as early as next year.
The proposed West Coast oil pipeline would transport more than 1 million barrels of oil per day.
A move those two leaders said is aimed at showing Canada can work for Albertans. But it came amid growing calls for the province to leave Canada and the prospect of a fall referendum on the issue.
Really, we're left alienated at the cost of Alberta.
With concerns a West Coast pipeline will bring oil tankers to the North Coast, BC's Indigenous leaders say the energy accord between Alberta and Ottawa divides more than it unites.
Who's left out of the conversation is the province of BC, and First Nations in BC have been left out of the conversation.
But not all British Columbians feel that way.
I would say the vibe in British Columbia is complicated. There is much stronger support for an oil pipeline than there was 15 years ago, even within British Columbia. But that support varies a lot between rural and urban. It depends on the path, a North Coast path versus a South Coast path.
Amid those differences, the Prime Minister attempted to address the varied concerns.
We are building BC strong so we can build Canada strong.
Carney telling this audience a pipeline is not a done deal.
The pipeline will only be advanced with the following prerequisites being met.
Those prerequisites include Alberta advancing a carbon capture and storage project called Pathways and respecting the constitutional duty to consult First Nations, which Carney said is non-negotiable. David Thurton, CBC News, Ottawa.
We are learning more about a shooting early in the morning in Surrey's Newton neighborhood. Police believe it is related to extortion. Stephen D'Souza, co-host of CBC's The Fifth Estate, joins us now with some exclusive details. Stephen, what can you tell us?
Dan, the shooting took place in the Newton neighborhood around 4:40 this morning. That's when police responded. You can see a number of bullet holes in the door and window of the residence. And police had the area cordoned off for most of the day as they did their investigation. They do believe the shooting is extortion related. And what we've learned is that the home belongs to a man named Arvinder Kosa. He is the newly elected president of Cricket Canada. That's the national governing body for the sport in this country. He's well known in cricket circles in BC. He is still the president of Cricket BC, the provincial association. And what we know is that he was brought on as president of Cricket Canada a few months ago when a court in BC had ruled that they needed their leadership overhauled because of mismanagement and some allegations of corruption. He was just reelected as president for a 2-year term just a few weeks ago. And so what we know is that police are investigating this as extortion related. And police did tell the Fifth Estate that an individual connected to the residence has received extortion related threats in the past.
How does this fit into the reporting you've already done about Cricket Canada and extortion?
We did a documentary back in April about Cricket Canada, about allegations of corruption and mismanagement, but also allegations of involvement of organized crime at the highest levels of Cricket Canada, and allegations of match fixing involving the national team at the World Cup that took place in India back in February. And there were allegations in our documentary related to Mr. Kosa, who was not president of Cricket Canada at the time before our documentary aired. He had just joined Cricket Canada just before our documentary went to air. But the allegations are from sources that he's connected to two local BC players who allegedly made threats against a national team player, and they claimed allegedly that they were connected to the Bishnoi gang. We put those allegations to Mr. Kosa in our documentary. He denied having any connections to the Bishnoi gang, any connections to organized crime, and said that any allegations against him are simply political propaganda against him. But it should be noted that this is not the first time Cricket Canada has experienced something like this. A former high-level official who lives in Calgary also had his home shot at twice, in fact, and he resigned just after the second shooting. He believed it was related to misinformation in the community, that he had come into some money relating to his job at Cricket Canada. Police did arrest 2 individuals in that case. A third is still at large, but there's no indication that these incidents are in any way connected. The investigation into this most recent one in Surrey is still very, very much in the early stages. So we'll definitely be looking for more from police on their investigation and a possible motive behind the alleged threats and the shooting.
And we should add, Stephen, that police say that people were inside the home in Surrey at the time, but no one was hurt. Stephen D'Souza with the Fifth Estate, thanks very much.
My pleasure, thank you.
Car traffic is now partly open on East Broadway after 4 months of construction closures between Main and Quebec Streets. It's all part of the Broadway SkyTrain project. Michelle Morton has more on the opening and the impact on people and businesses.
Vehicles are driving through Main and Quebec Streets on East Broadway in one lane each way after they were blocked to traffic for the Broadway SkyTrain project in January. Welcome news for some business owners in the area.
It's been slower for walk-by than we expected.
While she's happy to see traffic moving again, the sidewalk in front of her business is still blocked to foot traffic.
I had set like a minimum target in my mind of what I thought was reasonable with the construction, and it's definitely been lower than that.
The province said work on this stretch was ahead of schedule and could partially reopen a week earlier than expected.
I mean, it's great. I drive every single day and the traffic, like in this little intersection, has been awful.
It doesn't really affect me because I don't have a car. Actually, for the 99, I am very happy.
TransLink tells CBC News, while the lanes are partially reopened, customers can still expect some slight delays. All 4 lanes are set to open again in July.
This project isn't really known for being on time, so I guess that does worry me because especially in the summer, Vancouver's busy, it's super vibrant, so having people walk up and down the street is really important.
The transportation minister says in a statement in part, project teams are engaging with businesses to confirm access needs and to provide services. But as the SkyTrain construction continues, a new set of closures is coming to Broadway between Alberta and Cambie Streets after the FIFA World Cup games. The province says those closures are expected to last 6 months. Michelle Morton, CBC News, Vancouver.
Researchers have found dozens of contaminants in the tissue of juvenile Chinook salmon. Those fish were sampled from sites along the Fraser River. As John Hernandez shows us, there are concerns the chemicals could hurt the growth of that critical fish.
So I've got 2 red side shiners right here, and then these are 2 Chinook.
It's a critical stage in the life cycle of these tiny Chinook salmon.
These are really small fish that are really reliant on the estuary for feeding and growing.
And this estuary is littered with chemicals. These researchers have collected samples from the fish and their habitat since 2019, scanning for hundreds of contaminants.
We really found a whole variety of different pollutants, from pharmaceuticals and personal care products to pesticides, flame retardants, PCBs and PAHs.
Dozens of chemicals, including a high-risk flame retardant, were found in the fish tissue. Even more pollutants were found up and down the Fraser River.
A lot of the stuff that goes into our wastewater ends up in our fish, so it wasn't a huge surprise to find these different contaminants in the tissues of our juvenile Chinook.
The findings, published in a recent study done in conjunction with the Department of Fisheries and Oceans. The big question now is, what kind of harm could these chemicals be causing?
Anywhere from, changes in growth alterations in the fish, reproductive effects may be expected, behavioral changes.
Just south of the border, the picture is getting clearer. Researchers have been running the same kind of work in the Puget Sound for 30 years. Lab work has shown organic chemicals do inhibit Chinook growth.
There's evidence that this is likely happening, but we're trying to document it in the field. The research shows that that's the life stage where growth is really important. If they don't grow fast enough, it influences return rates.
And then there's the implications up the food chain. People eat these salmon.
I would hate to see anyone receive some sort of illness or health impact because they ate a wild salmon. The government, at the end of the day, are the ones that are managing things.
And the fish are the primary prey for orcas.
Southern resident killer whales have some of the highest contaminant loads of any marine mammals.
Researchers hope their findings can inform better ways to manage chemicals and waste along these critical waterways. John Hernandez, CBC News, Richmond.
Our science and climate specialist Darius Badavi here with a first look at the weather and the fire map.
That's right. Similar number to yesterday. We're sitting at about 24, although a new one just appeared on the BC map, not yet reflected in the federal data, which is what's here, just west of Prince George. Very small fire, but currently listed as out of control. Just put up within the last hour or so. We are going to be keeping an eye on that to see how it develops. Beyond that, we're seeing some lightning track down in parts of the southeast. Luckily, fire danger down here is quite low, so not expecting to see any, or if we do see a new fire spark up, not expected to see much spread very quickly, which is good news there. Beyond that, temperatures are going to be quite high over the next few days, Dan. Enjoy sunny skies as well.
Okay, we will. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Heiltsuk Nation and two of its members have settled a human rights complaint against Canadian Tire and Blackbird Security. This stems from an incident of racial profiling. It happened at a Coquitlam store in January 2020. As Edziu Loverin explains, part of that settlement agreement included a traditional washing ceremony.
A celebration song marks the beginning of a new chapter for this Heiltsuk Nation family. It's part of a traditional washing ceremony meant to repair harm, following a human rights complaint against Canadian Tire and Blackbird Security.
Definitely feel lighter and just really happy that we can include our traditional laws in this process.
The ceremony is one piece of a settlement agreement between the companies, the Heiltsuk Nation, and Don Wilson's family. In 2020, a Blackbird security officer searched her father's bag in front of other shoppers at a Coquitlam store. When she complained, a Canadian Tire employee stereotyped First Nations as someone who, quote, begs and steals. The owner of the Coquitlam location, officials from Blackbird Security, and Canadian Tire Corporation participated in the ceremony.
On a personal note, my store, my responsibility, my embarrassment. I hope you accept our apology.
It's the first time the ceremony has been held outside Heiltsuk Nation's traditional territory.
It's a symbolic ceremony to address and wash away any distress and trauma that you may have had. So to be able to do that here in Vancouver with our urban members here witnessing and validating, I think that it was amazing.
The settlement includes undisclosed financial compensation. Don says some funds will be donated to the Union of BC Indian Chiefs for a study on the racial profiling of Indigenous shoppers.
There wasn't a lot of information or studies for us to lean on or our lawyers, so it was really important that there is more data because this isn't the first and won't be the last time that this has happened.
Both Canadian Tire and Blackbird Security have agreed to implement more policies to better combat racism. Edziu Loverin, CBC Indigenous, Vancouver.
Still ahead, it is the largest sporting event on Earth, but is the bill for hosting 13 games for the FIFA Men's World Cup in Canada worth it? We'll look into that next. A commemoration was held in Kimberley earlier in the day to mark 20 years since the Sullivan mine tragedy. 4 people were killed at the former mine site on May 17, 2006, after being exposed to a lack of oxygen.
My neighbor came by and he said, "Did you hear that?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "There's 4 families whose life will never be the same." I didn't know I was one of those families.
It started when an environmental consultant collapsed inside a water sampling hut. Another worker sent to check on him also collapsed, as did the 2 paramedics. The tragedy became a lasting reminder of the risks first responders can face when they enter an unknown scene. BC's Minister of Tourism and Sport is disputing a report from Canada's Parliamentary Budget Officer that puts a hefty price tag of $578 million on Vancouver's 7 FIFA Men's World Cup games.
The report does not account for the ongoing work that we have done to solidify the numbers for contributions, for costs, estimated revenues and benefits. What I would like British Columbians to know that this is not just a one-time investment on the 7 games that we have here, but it is a long-term investment.
The report puts the cost of each of the 7 matches at BC Place around $82 million. Kang says the province will provide its own update on the costs to the province by the end of this month. Well, the price for the FIFA Men's World Cup is not only hefty in BC. According to that new report, Canada will spend more than $1 billion to host just 13 games. Sheehan Desjardins now with concerns the tourism payoff won't match the cost.
This Toronto hotel is expecting to be a lot busier when the World Cup is in town. It's smack dab beside the field, but less than a month out.
No nights are sold out yet. We're still holding out hope, but you know, if it was anything like Taylor Swift, we would have had all the rooms in a long time ago, yeah.
It's not just Hotel X. FIFA canceled thousands of bookings for teams, sponsors, and broadcasters after demand projections fell short. And this hotel operator in Canada's other host city, Vancouver, has space too.
We're waiting. We've got a few rooms left. So yeah, we'll just see how that goes.
One thing that's more certain is how much it's all going to cost Canadian taxpayers. The parliamentary budget officer estimates the bill to host just 13 games will be more than $1 billion, about $82 million per match. That's on par with the cost per game in previous tournaments in other countries.
But history shows that whether we're talking about the World Cup or the Olympic Games, historically, it's been very difficult to recover the cost.
This tourism professor points out it might be even harder at the upcoming World Cup, with Mexico and the U.S. hosting too.
We cannot expect to have the full economic benefits that in the past some of the countries have had with hosting the World Cup.
But it's not necessarily all about the immediate return. According to the head of the Vancouver 2010 Olympic Games, big sporting events can boost future tourism, create more opportunities, and leave a legacy behind.
I think the experience of coming to Canada is profoundly positive, and I think Canada will punch above its weight delivering the World Cup, but there's still work to do.
The marketing director of Toronto's Hotel X says just being at the center of one of the world's biggest sporting events is a win on its own. Sheehan Desjardins, CBC News, Toronto.
Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand is summoning Israel's ambassador after a video emerged showing that country's national security minister taunting activists detained aboard ships carrying aid for Gaza.
What we've seen, including the video shared by Itamar Ben-Gvir, is deeply troubling and absolutely unacceptable.
That video shows Itamar Ben-Gvir standing and shouting in a room where detainees have been bound and forced to kneel. More than 400 activists, including several Canadians, were detained after Israel intercepted dozens of aid ships trying to reach Gaza through an Israeli naval blockade. Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, says Israel had the right to stop what he called Hamas terrorist supporters. But he condemned his minister's actions, saying his conduct is not in line with Israel's values and norms. Several other countries, including Italy, France, and the Netherlands, have also summoned Israeli ambassadors because of the video. Lovely day to cross Burrard Inlet. A sunny stretch ahead for at least Metro Vancouver. Darius has your BC-wide forecast coming up.
I'm Amy Bell, and this is your CBC Inbox.
Join me, Stephen Quinn, and the Early Edition team on May 28th at the Minaroo Center for a special live on-location broadcast. Come meet our new local Richmond journalists, Pinky Wong and Stephen Chua. And on May 31st, CBC's Margaret Gallagher hosts the Explore Asian Closing Award Ceremony. Join us to celebrate outstanding Asian community artists. Tickets at exploreasian.ca.
Darius Manabi here with the BC-wide weather forecast. Nice day on the south coast.
Yeah,
good day to be outside.
Exactly, and it'll continue to be the case for the next few days. We've got more sunshine on the way for the vast majority of BC, and it's thanks to this ridge of high pressure that's been sitting in place, keeping us with those sunny conditions. With that being said, it does start to move off and flatten a bit as we head into the weekend, and by Sunday into Tuesday, we're going to start to see the next system roll through. So we get a trough instead, and that means some precipitation coming through, some cloudier conditions, and a little bit cooler than what we're going to be seeing over the next few days. Temperatures will be maybe 2 to 4 degrees above normal across most of southern BC, and a little bit more than that up in the northeast. Temperatures in many parts of BC reaching 20 degrees or even climbing a few degrees above that. In the southern interior, I wouldn't be surprised to see temperatures get up around the 28, 29 degree mark. I don't think we'll get quite to 30, except maybe in the Fraser Canyon, but it is a possibility in some places like Kamloops on maybe Friday, potentially Saturday. In terms of precipitation, until we get into next week when we see that next system, that trough start to come into the south, the only place that's really going to be getting significant rainfall is up in the northwest. Even there, it's nothing crazy. It's no really heavy amounts of rain, but it's just the only thing that's even notable. Some showers may make their way down towards the south. Some convective activity is possible, but thunderstorms don't seem particularly likely tomorrow, except maybe in the central interior. Unfortunately, though, that is one of the few places where we have high to extreme fire danger, so we'll be keeping an eye on that as it develops. Today, the thunderstorm chance is really confined to the southeast corner, where fire danger remains low. So a bit of good news there. In terms of tomorrow, again, that thunderstorm chance in the central interior, sunny generally most other places, although some cloud will build in through the day in the southern interior. And here's our 5-day forecast, Dan. Get ready for those warmer temperatures inland.
Okay. Darius, thanks very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on CBC Vancouver News. You can watch this newscast on CBC Gem, our free app, as well as on YouTube and our website, cbc.ca/BC. Good night.